Your Majesty, Paolo is exhausted. Because only Paolo can take this, and give you...
a princess.
Welcome back, Factionistas, and welcome to this dewy, radiant, luminescent, fantastic, flawless, glowy, perfected foundation routine. Do you want to see how to look perfect and get all the super likes on Tinder? Well then, keep on watching. And as promised, here is my color formula on how I get my super silver hair. I know you guys asked, so this is the exact formula. You guys can follow this with the exact products I used, or visit my description box below to find out where you guys can get your hair done by a Matrix salon. Step 1, hydrate those lippies. The birch species. Yeah. So the first thing I'm going in with is the NYX Away We Glow, which is a liquid illuminator, and this one is in the shade it's in the shade Moonbeam, and I looked up the name of it on Ulta's website, and it appears that they have buy one get one half off, so write that down. But so I'm applying that to the high points of my face, and this is essentially to get a little bit of hydration and glow before we even go in with foundation. It's really beautiful, as you can see, and I'm really down with it. The foundation I'm going in with, although it is very fluid and lightweight and moisturizing, it is a matte foundation, and I am not a matte girl. So I'm highlighting the top of the arch of my brow and blending that up my forehead because I saw this guy on Tumblr with a shiny forehead, and I was like, oh my god, you are so beautiful. So now I have to do it because he was like smoking, okay? Once you're hydrated, primed, and dew, I'm going in with the NYX Total Control foundation. I'm using the shade 10, and I'm going to be applying it right into this NYX brush. Since this is a water foundation, it's very loose and lightweight, so I'm using the dropper that the foundation comes with and applying it straight into the brush to avoid tilting my head all the way back. So with that brush, I'm kind of doing a pat and swipe motion to really buff that into the skin. I really want to work it in since it's a very lightweight, almost water foundation. I really want that to really marry my face. So I'm starting off in the center where I want the most pigmentation and I really want to cover that redness. And I'm working my way outward, moving it downward into the facial hair, which you can remove later on if you get any too much product buildup. But then I'm going to also sweep it up the temples into the forehead. And I used about 4 to 5 drops, and that was enough to cover half of my face. You guys can see that the foundation it's really evening out my skin tone, and it's making me look a little bit more perfected, but it's not covering up my soul. You guys can kind of still see me underneath, which is great. So I'm applying about 5 more drops again, and I'm just going to do the same thing on the side to just reiterate. I'm pressing, doing a little bit of pushing, and I'm just really working that into the skin. Starting off where I want the most coverage, where I have the most redness, which is the center of my face, and then blending it outward from there. Finishing off on the forehead, just buffing that in, we're going to show you the finished result for a medium coverage. You guys can see that. You guys can still see my freckles a little bit. There's still a blemish on my forehead peeking through, but it's ultimately very natural. So let's add some more. I added about 4 more drops, and I'm going in the same way I started last time. So we're in the center of the face and sweeping up. And you guys can see now that it's becoming very full coverage, and it looks very, very flawless, which is totally my jam. The foundation does dry matte, which is why I use an illuminator beforehand, but right now it looks very dewy and very wet. But it will sink and meld into the skin, and once it sets, it will be a flawless matte, which you guys will see in a bit. But I'm just doing it in the same way before. You guys can see now that as I buff it into my forehead, that blemish has now disappeared. That's how full coverage just doing 2 quick layers is, which is totally my friend. I do actually want to try this foundation to highlight and contour with as well because it is so lightweight and it really doesn't feel like you're wearing anything on that face. So this is the skin right after I'm done applying. You guys can see it has like a little bit of a dew, but then it sets like this, which is perfectly matte. So you guys can get a little bit both of what you want, because I'm a dewy girl, so I put that highlighter on and I'm going to go back in and add a little bit more. Or you guys can get a nice flawless matte. I would say it's almost like a demi matte. It has a natural skin sheen, but no shine, if that makes sense. Yeah, call me, send me a DM. So now I'm going back in with that same illuminator and I'm applying it in the same places that we did before, but I'm doing it a little bit different. So you guys can see I'm going with my first layer and I'm tapping and buffing that outwards, and that's just to get like an overall shine, but I want it to be a little bit multi-dimensional. So I'm going back in one more time. I'm creating a very thin line, and as you see me pressing it in now, I'm only pressing where that product is. I'm not moving it around. I'm only just pressing it in. I'm like tapping it like it's a button. It's not moving. I'm just pushing, 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 and your finger will naturally start blending that out for you. And and that's going to make sure that you don't buff out too much product, and there is high shine right in the center. You guys can see that. You guys can almost see that like maximum sheen strip, which is what I want. Now with a clean finger, I'm very lightly going around the edges of that just to blend out the edges, but making sure not to touch the center. Yes! That's what dreams are made of. So I'm doing the same thing now to the other parts of the face. So I'm going in with the nose, the other side of the cheekbone, and then again with that Tumblr guy forehead because I'm trying to be him, okay? That shine is great. By the way, I believe that these highlighters are $6.99, which is incredibly affordable. That's like the price of a Big Mac. So yeah, I'm applying it to all over those areas of my forehead. I'm using a little bit of loose setting powder now just to kind of take away any shine where I don't want it, which is the under the eyes. But I'm also using it to kind of blend out the edges of that highlighter so it has a very nice seamless blend. Yeah, I'm going with a little bit of bronzer. I'm just tapping that in. You guys can see I don't want to disturb any of the makeup underneath, so I'm not doing any swirls since I didn't set my entire face. I'm just tapping it in just to kind of enhance that highlight. And I'm going in with a little bit of powder highlight just to make it really, really pop in. I've never worn powder highlighter really that much, so I just wanted to go be a little extra today. So that's the finished tutorial. You guys can see how I look like a total little butt, and now I look like a Brazilian butt lift. I really hope that you guys like these products and like this video. I'm so proud to have collaborated with NYX on this video to show you guys these brand new products. You guys know that I'm a ride or die NYX fan. I will always support that brand for the end of days. And it's really great. It's really affordable. And I promise you guys that this stuff really is fantastic. I love you guys so, so much. And I will see you guys in the next video. Follow me on social media. Let's hang out. Bye, friends.